Welcome back, all my aspiring pattern makers and my future fashion designers. Today I'm going to discuss with you colors. Sometimes you may see a garment and it has a color that is fitting flat, flush against the garment around the neckline, or you may notice that it has a color but it has a stand to it. Today I am going to focus on the flat fitted color. I'm not going to talk about the stand color. There are three types of colors that fits into that category of the flat fitting color. There is the Peter Pan, or what we also call the round color, and there's also the shawl color, and you also have another one which we call the sailor color. I'm going to focus on these three types of colors, and I'm going to show you a little technique that you need to know when you are drafting the pattern for these colors. What is a Peter Pan color? A Peter Pan color is a round color that follows the shape of the neckline of the garment, and it is parallel to the shape of the neckline. You also can do a Peter Pan collar with a stand. But today I'm going to focus on the flat fitting Peter Pan collar. Now, what is the shawl collar? The shawl collar follows the shape of the back neckline and is parallel to it up to the shoulder seam. Once it gets to the shoulder seam, it is no longer parallel to the neckline. It tapers to the inches that you go below, which would be your cleavage area, whatever the shape you did from your neck at the shoulder, come down. The sailor color, you usually notice, like say folks that are in the Navy or boys in general can have those outfits that carries the sailor color. The sailor color is almost like the shawl color. The only difference with the sailor color is that it is longer at the center back than the shawl color. Usually the sailor color is about 5 inches from the center back and to the neck down, and then it goes for about 6 inches in, comes up, which is almost parallel to the armhole line or armhole seam, and then it tapers to nothing, just like the shawl collar at the front. Now, one thing I must say to you, sometimes you may notice that the front of the garment is on the fold, so you don't have an extension there, and you can also make it with the extension at the center front of the garment. I am now going to demonstrate to you how to draft the pattern for these three types of flat fitting colors. So let's get right into it. I already traced out the back body sloper for you. And this one I'm using the sloper, but you can use a pattern, and if you use a pattern, I just want you to fold along the seam line at the shoulders, because there's a technique that I need to display to you when you are drafting the pattern for this. And you need to use the sloper for this. Remember now, the sloper does not have any seam allowances on the sloper, whereas if you have a pattern, you will have seam allowances. The most important thing that you need to note when you're drafting any flat fitting color pattern is the fact that in order for you to have a little stand at the back so that you don't see the neck seam, you have to do a technique such as what we call the overlapping. So we're going to overlap the front with the back by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to mark off 1/2 inch here, and you need that overlap of the 1/2 inch. Since I'm using a sloper here, I am going to connect my neck with my seam line like this, and then I'm going to trace around with this overlap right here. And this is my center front. So this is your center front. when you do the overlap, you are going to end up taking off some of the fabric of the garment right there, and then it will create that stand because you will have less amount around here, and it will create that stand where you're not going to able to see the neck seam. You should not be creating any of the three colors that I'm going to show you without this overlap. It is very important. Now, let's start first with the Peter Pan, or what we call the round collar. Now, we call it the round collar, but some people say Peter Pan, depending on the region that you are in. So now I'm going to get into creating the style line for the Peter Pan, or what we also call the round collar. So we have our 5/8 extension there, and I need to go down 2.5 inches on the center back, like this. You need to square this. So you need to get an L square, or you need to get a ruler like what I'm using with the grid line. You need to square it for 1/2 inch and create that 2.5 mark all around the edge. Let it be parallel to the neckline. So you need that 2.5 inches to be parallel to the neckline. Now, one thing I must say to you is that you also need to come in 1 inch from the center front at that 2.5 line. So you need to come in 1 inch here from the center front, and you are going to connect it to here. Now we have that 1 inch from the center front. You're going to curve this around, obviously, and you're going to shape out your Peter Pan collar. And this is what it would look like for your Peter Pan collar. The next thing you have to do is trace out the collar. Center back is on fold. So you can fold the paper, trace this out, or trace it out first and then fold it and create your 1/4 inch seam allowance all around. So you create your 1/4 inch seam allowance there. And because it's a silver, there's no seam allowance here, so you have to create your 1/4 inch seam allowance also along the neck. But if you're using a basic bodice pattern that you already have, it should already have had the 1/4 inch seam allowance for the neckline, and you don't need to add any to the edge here, but you need a 1/4 inch around here. Notice you can round this because it's a Peter Pan, or what we call a Peter Pan round collar. Some people add the applique around the edge or some sort of trimming. That is up to you. Now, once you have traced this out, this is a collar. You will also need an under collar. The under collar should be 1/8 of an inch narrower in width than the upper collar. So once you trace out the first one, you need to trace another one. You need that 1/8 difference for when you are ironing the collar, and also when you attach it to the neckline, you also don't see the stitch line. So it's going to create a curve. So you need the top piece to have an extra that comes over, and you don't see the understitching when you're doing so. Now, another thing that I must say to you is that you can also do a Peter Pan where the back is where the opening is. So this would be on the straight grain line, and this would be on the fold. You can do that. It doesn't matter. You can have the front just come straight to the front here, the center front, and then the back would be the 1/8 away from the center back closing for the other type where you have a flush round at the front. Now, the next type of collar that I'm going to demonstrate to you how to draft that is the shawl collar. The shawl collar looks like this, where that you will have it coming from the back and it comes to nothing around the cleavage area of the front. So you can go ahead and draft this. You need 6.5 inches down, and that will take you here. And you need to come down at the center back here 3 inches. 3 inches at the center back. You notice that the Peter Pan collar you came down 2.5 inches, but for the shawl collar you need to come 3 inches. You can carry that 3 inches all along to the shoulder line. Make it parallel to the neck edge, that 3 inches there. Make it parallel to the neck edge. Make sure that this line for the shawl collar and the center back is perpendicular, all right, for at least 1/2 inch, and then you can use your curve rule and you can shape it out, or you can freehand do it. I can do it freehand. You're going to connect your neckline to your mark here, your 6.5 inches down mark. So you're going to connect your neckline there and have it like that. The next step that you're going to do from right here, you're going to now shape this out like that. This is what your shawl collar would look like. Then you would go ahead, place a piece of paper over this, trace it out. This is your center back unfold. And also, again, the under piece would be 1/8 inch narrower in width than the upper piece, because you want to make sure that the upper piece is covering the seam underneath when you attach the under piece to the over piece. So that is it for the shawl collar. This is what the pieces look like when you have drafted it. The next color that I'm going to draft for you is the sailor color. Now, one thing I must say to you, there are 2 ways of drafting the sailor color. You can have it where you have the garment with both the center back and the center front is on the fold, or you can do it where the center front is not on the fold, just like the shawl collar or the first Peter Pan collar that I did for you. Now, when you are doing so, if you have both center front and center back on fold, then you need enough space here for it to go over the neck, or you have to have an opening at the side seam. So that is what you have to take into consideration. Now let's go ahead and draft this sailor collar for you. First and foremost, you need to go down 7 inches from the center front. So I'm going to go down 7 inches from the center front here. Put my mark there. And then at the center back, I need to go down 5 inches at the center back. I need to make this a perpendicular line to my center back for at least 1/2 inch, as I stated before. With the sailor collar, you can continue this for 6 inches. And you can make that parallel to your armhole line right here. Make that parallel to that. And now what you need to do, you need to create the line that's going to join here. And you can just come to this and clean it like that. Then what you need to do next is that you need to create a line coming from the neck and shoulder straight down to that line. And this is your new line right here. And this is what your collar will look like. This is going to be a center back right here on the fold. All right, center back and fold. Remember now, you would take this piece out. You don't need that. Okay, once again, for the sailor collar, you need to make the under piece 1/8 inch smaller in width than the upper piece. Another thing I must say to you is that you're going to cut the center back on fold, and this is what the end product is going to look like with the collar like that. So in conclusion, you must apply the overlapping of that 1/2 inch along the shoulder of the back over to the front to create that little slight stand that you need for the 3 basic flat fitting collar, because you don't need to see the neck seam. If you don't do that, you're going to end up in problems where you will see your neck seam showing. So make sure that you do apply your 1/2 inch overlap there. You have just seen the demonstration of 3 types of flat fitting collar. You just saw how to create the Peter Pan collar, which is also known as the round collar. You also saw the construction of the shawl collar and also the construction of the pattern for the sailor collar. I hope that this video has helped you tremendously. Now that you know how to create 3 types of flat fitting collars, you will go ahead and try them out. Many adults are not wearing the Peter Pan collar now, but children are still wearing the Peter Pan collar, so you can apply that to a children wear. For the boys, you can create the pattern for the sailor collar, and for the girls, you can create the pattern for the Peter Pan, which we also call the round collar, or you can create the pattern for the shawl collar. I will do another video to show you how to create the patterns for the stand collar. Thank you for watching. And before you go, if you have not yet hit that subscribe button, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't keep this video to yourself. Share it to others around the world so they too can be knowledgeable on how to draft flat fitting collars. Thanks again for watching and see you soon. Bye now. Cheers.